Hello and good morning. Let's start with another problem. So, problem is like we need to find shortest path from S to 2 in a directed div, and this div have negative edges. So let's start with the basics. So if we have only positive edges, and it's going to be a general graph, then we are going to use Dijkstra with time complexity of somewhat E. So this is the case in which we have a positive edges, and it's a general graph. Okay. Now let's move to the part we have negative edges, and it's general graph. There is no condition on graph. So for this we need Ford Watson. So with time complexity of O of NQ. So, okay. So this is the case for general graph. Now we have a negative edge, and the condition of graph is that there will be no cycle with sum of sum of their edges going to be negative. So there should be no cycle with sum of all the edges of that circle not should not be negative. So for this case we can use Bellman-Ford with time velocity of O of n minus 1 into E. So this is the case with negative cycle with no negative cycle edge, circle edge. Now for this problem we have a negative edge. Next it's going to be that, and for DAG the DAG have a condition that there are no cycle. So if there is no cycle, then there will be no cycle with sum of edges as negative. So for this case, we can use Bellman-Ford, but the Bellman-Ford is taking a long time. That is n minus one into e. So we need something better. So let's look out how DAG is going to look. So DAG, it's directed and there is no cycle. So DAG, there will be edge pointing with like. Okay. So graph is something like. So Dijkstra graph is looking like something there. They are directive edges, but there is no circle. So what I mean, there is no going to circle, so there will be no edge pointing back to some previous node. So there will be no cycle, something like this or something like that pointing to some previous node. So let's look why. Let's look at first part, that is why grid is not working. That is something like Dijkstra. Why Dijkstra is not working. So in Dijkstra, what we used to do is we try to pick out. If we start from a node, we try to pick out smallest edge. So if we try to apply Dijkstra, then and we are just going to put first start with the root node that is this, and then we going to put both these two nodes into our priority queue. So for this node, the answer is going to be -2, and for this answer is going to be 2. But in priority queue, we are going to pick out smallest node with the answer as -2. And next we are going to put all its child, that is this. So for this answer is going to be -5, and we need to put this into Q and this need to be removed. So we have two nodes with value 2 and -5. As -5 is lesser, then we are going to pick out this node and remove this, and now we are going to put this node having value -6. Again we have -6 and 2 in the queue, and now smaller is going to pick, that is -6, and we are now again going to put both the children, that is -6 and it's -5. Now we have three nodes, that is 2, -5 and -6. Now we are going to pick out the small, that is -6, and put all this children, that is minus 5. Now we have a 3 node, that is minus 5 and 2, this, this, and this. So now we have second response, that is minus, as minus t is already reached and there is no edges, this is going to removed. Again we are going to pick this, remove this, and update children, that is minus 4, but minus 5 is already lesser, we are not going to put it, and this is going to remove. Now we are going to put pick 2 and update its children, that is 2, and that is going to be minus 98. Okay, now we have only two one node, that is minus 8. We are going to pick this and put its children, that is going to be minus 97, no, minus 99, but minus 99 is smaller than 96. This is going to be cut, and this is going to be minus 99. Again we are going to put this node into the queue, but we have already processed it, but we are again putting it, and again we are going to update this whole tree. So the problem is that we initially go to this part and update these node, and again we are going to this part and again traveling this node, so it's going to be some e square time complexity. That's why Dijkstra is not working in this case. Now move to the, so this is the part why greedy is not failing in this case. Okay, now so one key observation is that if we want to calculate answer for S, then S can only reach to T by this node or this node. So for this node, if we know the minimum cost to reach T, then we just need to update S cost by minimum of these two edges by adding this weight. Okay. So if we are doing in brute force way, what we are going to do is that we will travel to this path, or somewhat this path, and again we are going to this path and this path, and we are going to whatever value is returning, we are just updating this S value. So if we already calculated these value in a DP, then again this part not need to be written because we have already calculated. So we, in this problem, we are going to use a DP, something like DP of U is going to be minimum cost to reach U. So it's going to be minimum of cost of U to V and DP of plus DP of. So for RV, we are going to take this minimum. So how it's going to work is that when we are going to place call, suppose we place call to this node, and this going to place call to this to calculate TP, and this going to put call to this, and this going to put the call to this, and this going to put call to this. Similarly, this node going to point to this, and this to this. So initially we have traveled to each node just once and calculate its DP using the child. So for this node, we are going to call this path to calculate its DP, and similarly for this part, we are going to call to calculate its DP, and basis of these two values, we are going to update its DP. So next time when the call is going from this part to this part, and this going to call this to this, and again this is going to call to this through this, but we have already calculated its value and store in DP. While going to this part, we are just going to return that. So what initially in brute force or in Dijkstra we are doing again, this part got reduced by storing the answer for this by using the child values. So this is the overall solution. So now move to the code part. So code is going to be simple as, so there is a DFS call passing unt. So this DFS is going to be called from S node. That's agency edges, that is edges of graph, and that's TP. So if we already reach at T, then its TP is going to be 0. And if we already calculated TP for this node, that is for this, especially for this node, we have already calculated in previous recursion, we're just going to return it. Else initialize it with some max value, and for each children, we are going to calculate answer of child. If answer is possible, if there is some node like there is some node like this, which is not reaching to t, its answer going to be 1e9. So we are not going to update it because it's going to overflow. So this part is covered. So answer is going to be weight of edges plus answer of child. So answer returning, we going to return this. Okay. Now move to next part. So this is the DP solution overall. Next, I want to talk about another thing, that what we used to do in Bellman-Ford. So for this, Bellman-Ford is working, but its time complexity is somewhat n minus e into e. So what we used to do in Bellman-Ford, we used to relax edges n minus e times n minus e times n minus e times all edges. Okay. So one thing that need to be observed is that if we have already calculated answer for this, then we just need to do relaxation of this. Relaxation means we just need to go to channel and update your answer. So what we can do, that if we have some topological ordering of these nodes, that is we what I want to say, that if we are calculating answer in topological order, that is, if we know that first we have calculated answer of its children, and then we going to process its parent, parent, and from parent we just need to relax its node with that answer of child. So we somewhat need an order, so that if we reach a node, we have already calculated answer of all its children. So for to find to in order to achieve this, we need a topological order of node. And why we are able to do this? Because these edges are directed and there are no cycle. So we were able to find a topological order. So if we know a topological order, then and if we are going to reverse it, so suppose take this as A, and this node as B, and this node as C, and this node as D. So topological order is going to be that is T C T C A B A B and S. Okay. So for S, if start calculating answer for this to this. So if we are already have for D, there is no children. So this answer is going to be 0. For C, it's pointing to only D. So this can be calculated from here only. And we are already calculated answer for this because we are doing calculation topological coding. For A, we need C. So from this C, it can update this, and B similarly update from this. For S, we need value of A and B. So A and B are answered already by using this, we can update this value. So what happened in topological sorting? All the edges which are children of some node, uh, those answers also already calculated. So this ordering is helping in our relaxation part. So what we are going in Albanese form, that is n minus time, we are relaxing those edges. But in this case, there is we are relaxing edge only one time. So only just one time relaxation, we are able to achieve the answer, that is answer for minimum time to reach from S to D. So this is the overall solution to Calculate the shortest path from S to T in a deck with negative edges. Thank you. I hope this solution makes you clear. Thank you. Bye.